Hey guys, Lydia here for Build Yourself Inside, and I hope you're all doing okay on this incredibly windy day. I've had cancellations in my schedule pretty much all day, and I've had some great time to catch up with myself, and wanted to jump on this topic this week that I didn't actually even know was really a problem. Just getting a bunch of messages now. Okay, so before I get distracted and before I hopefully don't get my Wi-Fi cuts out, hopefully it doesn't. If my Wi-Fi does cut out, I promise I will come back with this message again next week. So let's just jump right into it. So I was at a meeting last week, and what I tend to forget because of how far I've come personally, I tend to forget about how most of society is thinking and what their beliefs are and what their struggles are still, right? Not saying I don't have any struggles now, I just have a different type of struggles, I feel like. And I was at a meeting last week with a bunch of other entrepreneurs, and it was interesting because something caught my attention. One of the members of the group was standing up talking about their week or their business and said something along these lines, like, well, I felt stressed out, but we all have to deal with that, right? We all have to deal with stress in what we do. And I was immediately like, what? Right? Because everything, here's what really made an impact on my life and changed my life, guys. This really was the turning point of getting control back over my emotional state and back over my outcomes in life, okay? So listen very closely to this message, guys. Everything that you think you know, okay? Everything that you think you know, every fact, figure, things that you believe, these are all just beliefs. So when I heard that person stand up and say, well, we all have to deal with stress, I don't get stressed, guys. I don't deal with stress ever. And I'm going to jump into more detail about this. So what I find a lot of people do is they have this need for negative energy in order to move themselves forward. Let's take someone who hates their body. Their fuel to work out and lose weight is because they hate who they are. Or their fuel to hire like a, let's say like a relationship coach or a marriage counselor is because they hate who they are, right? Or they hate the relationship, right? Or their circumstances. Or someone who works so that they're just not broke. Or let's just say someone who uses the phrase, I just need to make a living. You have to really listen carefully to how you talk to yourself and listen very carefully to how others speak, because when somebody says that they're working just to make a living, that's literally what all they're doing is just making a living. So probably bringing in exactly what they have to in order to make ends meet. Right? A lot of us can probably relate. A lot of us have probably been there. Some of us are probably there now. So this was an interesting conversation that I've had with a client in the past. And this person wanted to keep these cravings for cigarettes in order to make themselves stronger, in order to make themselves work harder to build willpower, right? So the strategy for this person, this particular individual, to go forward was to build willpower, when actually things like smoking, things like losing weight, and let's say building higher quality relationships, building a better communication between your spouse, making more money, none of this should require willpower, guys. If there is something that you want, it shouldn't require willpower. It shouldn't require sheer force in order to get you there. So listen very carefully to that. I'm going to say it again. If there's something that you want, let's just say, like I want to pick up my purse, or I want to pick up this pen right here. I just do it, right? It didn't require willpower. It didn't require sheer force, momentum. I didn't have to summon up and use affirmations to go pick up this pen, right? I just went and I did it. So here's what I'm saying. If you want to make more money, if you want better relationships, higher quality relationships, you want to start meeting better people, you want to feel better about yourself, you want to lose weight, you just want to improve some area of your life, it shouldn't require willpower to get there. It shouldn't require pushing against a part of yourself to get closer. And I really want you to listen really carefully. Listen in between the lines with what I'm saying here. This is why I'm speaking very slowly. And this is how I elicit a lot of the problem strategies that a lot of my clients make, and how I know that they're not going to get to their goal in the end if they continue with these strategies. Because I listen to what exactly they're working towards. And when somebody's telling me that, well, willpower is helping me avoid sweets. Willpower is helping me avoid eating greasy foods or the breadsticks at Olive Garden or whatever their weakness is. If you require willpower in order to make your life better, what is it you're really wanting here? You see what I'm saying? I want you guys to start thinking about the difference between wanting something, like really truly desiring something for real, and just a temporary escape or a high or a fix or a satiating piece of food or something to cover a craving, right? You have to begin to separate these two things, the two things that you really want, that you're working towards the thing. Okay, good. So what I was saying is that you have to be able to distinguish in order to really, truly move forward, right? So I kind of want to draw like a quick diagram here. Okay. So can you all kind of see that? Okay. I don't even know what this is. My notes for my Facebook Live, which I'm not even using. Okay, let's make this easier. So, okay, let's say you have the thing you want right here. And I know you guys are seeing this backwards. I'm going to do the best I can. You have the thing you want right here. You have the 30 pounds down. You've quit smoking. You've hit 6 figures with your business. You've achieved more time in your schedule. You finished that project. Let's just, whatever. Here's your outcome right here. And here is the thing that you don't want, right? You, the cravings, the extra body fat, the debt, all the stuff you don't want is right here. All the stuff you do want is right here. And a lot of people are using a method of pushing away, right? Pushing away, moving towards this thing, right? Pushing away from what they don't want, right? But this is their only strategy, is just pushing away from what they don't want. And so here's what happens. This tends to happen. Here's how yo-yo dieting happens. Here's how inconsistent results happen, guys. This is really, really important. This is what happens when you're operating out of negative energy, when you're operating out of self-hate, when you're operating out of having to use willpower to override what you truly want, right? And I mean, when I say you truly want, I mean the things over here, the fit body, the healthy body. Let's say you've quit smoking, you have your own business, wherever success looks like to you over here. Most people are only doing this thing. So they kind of go in circles, right? Because they get to comfort, right? Comfort may be here, it may be here, it might be here. It's different for everybody. But there's comfort and then they bounce back because they're only pushing away from pain, okay? And you've probably heard this before, but I think it's easier to see in a diagram. So here's what I've noticed the trend with a lot of my clients who achieve success versus the ones who don't, is that they're doing one or the other. Okay? So you have a person who's just pushing away from pain, right? They're just saying, I just don't want to be fat. I just don't want to smoke 3 packs of cigarettes in a week. I just don't want to be broke. I just don't want to live under someone else's thumb the rest of my life. I just don't want to have this much debt, right? And what we find ourselves doing is creating inconsistent results and results that don't last. Because the minute we start making progress, we begin to feel better. We begin to feel a little more relaxed, a little more comfortable, and then we relax ourselves. Or I actually want to take that back. I don't want to use the word relax here because I'm going to use that a little bit later. We tend to give ourselves a little more leeway, and we stop working at the same pace we were doing before. And I'm just an expert at the weight loss area in this category because I did this for 10 years. This was the reason I was yo-yo dieting for 10 years, is because I was simply just trying to not be a certain way versus trying to aim towards something. And I find that my clients who achieve success, who cruise right through, need both parts. I feel like both parts are important. You need to want to not be somewhere, but you also need to have a target. You need to have a place to go beyond the comfort, right? Because that's usually where most people want to be in the end, is beyond comfort, right? We don't want to stay comfortable forever. At least I don't. Like, I want to know that I am generating more money. I am generating more happier people. I'm generating more. I'm creating more. I'm growing more, right? Because that's what it's always going to be for us. It's just human instinct. We're always just going to want more. Okay, we don't just settle in one place, and that goes for everybody. So I want to talk about people who primarily focus on things like stress or anger, frustration, any kind of negative output. Because a lot of people think that using these emotions is beneficial to moving them forward. This is no different than hating yourself, right? Hating your spouse or hating, whatever it is, your dog. I don't know, whatever it is. A lot of people think, let's go back to my story here of when that entrepreneur was saying that everybody is stressed, right? Everybody has to deal with stress. Well, no, I don't deal with stress. I don't get stressed, meaning my body doesn't tense up. I don't get headaches from stress. I don't get frustrated and angry and whatever anger or frustration or stress comes up in your body, whatever those sensations are for you. For me, it's tightness, it's headaches, it's frustration, it's anger, it's something that fuels other bad, negative emotional states. And I want to distinguish between the fact that I don't get stressed. However, there are times I do get concerned. There are times that I do worry. However, I don't let it stress me out. So listen very, very carefully. This is why a lot of what I do is help people break down the emotions that they're feeling and the sensations in their body. Because you can actually override the sensations that are going on in your body. Let's say you're beginning to feel tunnel vision, nervous, anxiety, shaking when you're about to go up to speak in front of a group of people. Well, here's the thing. You don't have to deal with that. In fact, when I was in Toastmasters, I had one person ask me, how do you deal with the nervousness? Do you get nervous? And I said, I'm trying to think about actually what I said. But there are times that I do, but I know how to shut it down. And there are times that I don't feel it at all because I know how to shut it down. I know how to stop those sensations, the shaking, the tunnel vision, the whatever happens physiologically in that moment, that's what I shut down, or it just doesn't come at all. I've kind of trained myself and still have to work at it. It's definitely a work in progress, but there's definitely times I don't get nervous at all. It all really depends on the thoughts that are going through your head that are fueling all of these emotions, right? But that's for another topic. But the point of this video and what I want to point out is that you guys, none of us need negative energy to push forward. Now, sometimes I notice for people that it's beneficial to have. In fact, I recently had a client who was not connecting what would not happen or what would not happen if they didn't lose weight, right? Some people, we can dream all the time. This would be nice. This would be nice. This would be nice. But some of us don't think about the repercussions, right? And then sometimes it's the other way around. Sometimes people, all they think about is the repercussions, right? And that's kind of who I'm talking about today, is the people who, that's all they focus on is the repercussions. Well, I'm going to end up like this if I don't use willpower. And that's immediately what we default to. We push things away. We suppress things. In fact, I had a recent client ask me about appetite suppressants. I said, hell to the fuck no. Hell no, do not use appetite suppressants. Get rid of that shit. Don't buy that shit, guys. Because anything you suppress just gets stronger, guys. And this is how I build my programs. I do not suppress anything. Whatever that person's dealing with, we need to bring to the surface. This is how you create lasting change, guys. And if you're using negative energy, stress, hate, self-hate for you to lose weight, or self-hate to better your relationships, or hating your relationship to better your relationship, or using stress to increase willpower or increase strength, no, guys. You're not increasing anything. In fact, you're wasting your time, because you're not allowing yourself to grow beyond that point, right? Wherever it is for you. If you're always wasting all of your energy dealing with stress, well, that's all you're ever going to be doing, is dealing with stress. Because for you, your strategy is to keep that negative energy so that it moves you forward. That's your strategy right now. Well, what if your strategy could be different, right? What if your strategy could be, oh my gosh, well, what would happen if I just felt relaxed, but I was still motivated to move towards my goals, right? Here's the secret. Here's what a lot of people don't know, and here's how I operate now. And here's how I teach my clients how to operate. Is that using positive energy, using self-love, using I want to be here, I want to have this thing, I want to make this amount of money, using our goals to fuel everything, positivity, self-trust, self-love, self-forgiveness, guys. Self-forgiveness. We find ourselves slapping ourselves on the wrist because we're being so hard on ourselves, because we think being hard on ourselves is what's going to move us forward. No, guys, no. In fact, it wasn't until I stopped hating myself, and I stopped hating my body, and I stopped hating everything about me, that I finally lost all the weight for good. And the yo-yo dieting completely came to an end. It took self-acceptance for that to happen. So know that as long as you're using negative energy, you're going to be not only wasting energy, but you're going to be going around in circles. Just like that. Just around and around and around and around in circles. Because you're using that energy to protect yourself from going back to where you were. And that's all you'll ever be doing, because that's your strategy for getting closer to where you are, but you're actually not getting closer. So this was probably a lot to take in, especially because I'm speaking a different language now than most of the general public. If I go up to someone who's trying to lose weight in the gym, and I say, well, what if you actually liked who you were, you liked your personality, you liked your body, but you still wanted to lose weight, right? You loved who you are, but you still wanted to improve yourself, right? Because the people who focus on improvement versus finishing a thing, finishing a task, hustling and bustling, being here, being there, finishing, will always be operating out of stress, will always be operating out of the society and everybody else controlling them. You need to finish something to make that person happy. You need to go through this amount of work to make that client happy. You need to, basically, you're letting everybody else set your schedule. And I really had to work hard with another entrepreneur about time management and how they weren't allowing themselves to take care of themselves because their clients were demanding more and more and more and more and more time. I said, well, what is more important here? Are you getting out your best quality of work if you're not eating right, if you're not exercising, if you're not sleeping, guys? So I want you all just to think about this, because this is a threat to how a lot of people are operating. This is a threat to how a lot of you are operating, maybe. And I'm not saying this is everybody, but this is a majority of people. And the thing is, it's scary to drop that. It's scary to suddenly start loving who you are and appreciating everything you have, but also still feel like you want to improve yourself or your relationship or your body or your health or whatever it is. It's scary to be there. But I was forced to be there. I was forced to get there, because I would have continued going down that road of using willpower, pushing it away, suppressing, starving myself, working out, competing to try and stay where I wanted to be. And a lot of bodybuilding competitors are doing this too. I know this. Using bodybuilding competitions to stay in the shape. They constantly need that motivation. They constantly need a show. They constantly need something in front of them, because a lot of them are worried about putting on weight beyond their natural or non-competitive season or whatever it is. This is not all of them, but I know a lot of them. And I can tell you right now, when I got away from that, and I got away from the need to look a certain way, to have to always finish things, to always have to make everybody else happy, to do everything to try and control everybody and thinking I could control everybody around me. I dropped it all. I said, fuck all this. And I turned 100% inward, and I said, what do I want to do with my time? How do I want to spend my time? What kind of people do I want to surround myself with? What kind of people do I want to work with? How much money do I want to make? How do I want to make that money? When I started asking myself these questions, this is why I no longer deal with stress. That's what it came down to. Yeah, there's times I run late for clients. There's times I run late for meetings. There's times I double book meetings. There's things that I do that create conflict, but I don't get stressed over the conflict. Do you see the difference? That you can overpower your own emotions. You can take control of your negative energy, and you can just relax. Guys, just relax. It's very useful to be able to do this. This is what I teach as a hypnotist. It's extremely important to learn how to do this in order to relax, because when you're relaxed, you're confident, right? You're able, this is what I teach organizations now that I'm doing corporate consulting, is if you can relax on that phone call, you can relax before that phone call with a client or with a, with who it is, a boss or whatever it is, or out on a date or at the gym, you're just going to get more results, guys, better results, right? Higher quality results if you can relax. And that was probably the most profound thing that has changed my life in the past couple years. So when you can separate that negative energy and begin asking yourself, do I really need to feel stressed right now? Is this the end all be all? What's going to happen if I'm 10 minutes late? What's going to happen if that 1 pound, 2 pounds doesn't drop off by the end of the week, right? Is it the end of the world? Is everybody going to stop liking you? Are you really going to be bankrupt in the end? The answer is no, right? The world is not going to come to an end. That's really it. But it feels like it for a lot of people. It feels like it. And this is why it takes a lot of self-reflection, a lot of self-work, a lot of exploring what's actually going on with ourselves personally, emotionally, where our emotional drivers are, who's our emotional drivers or our triggers, and being able to separate ourselves from those circumstances and looking at it like looking through a glass window and coming to a realization that everything's going to be okay. Just breathe. And in fact, you'll actually start creating better outcomes and higher quality outcomes in life. That I can guarantee you guys. And you'll be much, much happier. However, you have to want happiness over finishing that thing or getting to that goal. You have to choose happiness and peace over all of those other things. So if that is where you feel like you want to be, I'm not saying that you have to stop with your goals, right? Because what I'm saying in this video is that this is actually going to push you forward closer to your goals and faster. This is what I'm saying. Because you can achieve higher quality focus. You can think more clearly. Everybody else isn't telling you what to do with your time or telling you where you need to spend it, or there's not all this anger and you're using all these sabotaging thoughts, right? I just explained this to another business owner recently, just this past week, is like, already us being wound up in our negative thoughts telling us, oh shit, I'm gonna be late. Oh no, I'm not good enough. Oh crap, this work is not quality. That's already a waste of time right there. That's already wasting time because we're drowning in our negative energy. So being conscious of that, switching it over to something that is more useful, right? Anyway, I can go on and on about this. Whew. Okay, before I give myself a headache, sometimes I forget to breathe during these things. Think about that. Think about what life could be like if you were operating out of relaxation every day and yet still getting to your goals, still getting closer, still building yourself, still getting stronger, right? Because that is stronger. When you can operate out of relaxation, that is so much strength. You have so much control of your life. It's unreal. I can't even put it into words. So, okay. Anyway, let me know, of course, what questions and comments and everything you guys have. I realize I'm tinkering with beliefs here. I'm tinkering with all your beliefs, all your realities. So you're not gonna be able to accept this right off the bat. I realize that. I'm not here to fight. I'm here to give you insight. And I hope you're able to take some of this and think about it. Go grab some books. I'm going to put a book listing up on my website for those of you who want to download it, who want to see what I read, to learn about myself, to learn about others, to learn about behavior and success, mindset strategies. So let me know always what you want to feel, what you want to see, and what you want to hear. And I will be putting this blog up onto my website. I actually already have a blog. I did a complete website migration over these past few weeks. Past few months before Christmas. So I have a completely new website up, completely new blog. I will be putting this up there among many other personal and professional development videos. For those of you who are professionals, you're running your own business, you're busy, you just want to achieve as much out of life as you possibly can without all the chaos and the frustration and the anger. You want to go check that out at Build Yourself Inside, all one word, www.buildyourselfinside.com/blog. And you'll find a whole lot more there. I'll be putting up also a free self-hypnosis download for you all for relaxation purposes. Not there yet. I will let you all know when that's up there for you to download. I've recorded that myself. And always let me know what you want to know, what you want to feel, what you want to see. If you're interested in consulting, send me a private message. Do not message underneath. Send me a private message. And before my voice goes, I want to wish you all a very safe and relaxing Friday evening. Stay inside if you can. I'm about to go out and chill with one of my homegirls because I haven't seen her in a long time. So I'm going to go dare and brave the 495 here in a minute. But take care of yourself, guys. Take care of yourself. You don't need to be tense. You don't need to be shaking. You don't need to be panicking. You don't need to be all of these different things, right? We can be concerned. We can be moving forward. We can be making changes without having to hate, without having to be stressed, without having to fear things, without having to be angry, right? None of this stuff gets us anywhere. Just a massive headache. So you all have a great rest of your evening. I will put the link to my website in this. Go check out my blog where there's a lot more information about this, and I will talk to you guys next week.